Hey everybody, how's it going? Brbteabreak here, today with another World of Warcraft Battle for Azeroth video. Today we're checking out the Outlaw Rogue. If you want to see other class changes in Battle for Azeroth, check out my channel where I have most of the classes covered, and I'm doing a new one every single day. So the Outlaw Rogue, it got a rework in Legion, from what we used to get from in Mob and what else, to being its pirate little spec. And it's been reworked again. So the spec still plays the same, but now it feels like anyway that the buffs from Roll the Bones aren't a necessity to actually get the class to operate properly. It's an actual buff. If you get 2 procs of the Roll the Bones, you feel good. But on live it's like, okay, I can finally play my class. That's not to say you will have to only roll 1 dice anymore. You might still have to roll 2, we're not too sure yet. But the class still operates without Roll the Bones, which is really, really nice. At the same time, the spec just feels like you have more control now. It feels much faster, in the same way of Roll the Bones. And they've really fleshed out the spec, I guess you could say. The talents feel good, though there are some that are still the same, a lot of them actually. But yeah, it's a nice operating class. Firstly, we'll go through basic abilities, then we'll talk about the traits we've lost through artifact weapons being gone, and then we'll talk about the talents. So, basic abilities. Saber Slash is now known as Sinister Strike. The cost has been reduced by 5, it's 50 energy on live, now 45. Also, the double strike or Sinister Strike is still the same, it still has a 35% chance by default. But the pistol shot proc is different, so on live the pistol shot proc lets you do a free pistol shot, where now it only gives you a half cost pistol shot, but that pistol shot does a lot more damage, does double the damage, which is really, really nice. It means pistol shot actually does damage when you press the button now, which is totally different to the live server, where it just kind of ends up being a generator. You see here, look at that, it does the same damage as a Sinister Strike for the most part, which is really, really cool. They've also reworked Blade Flurry. So Blade Flurry on live is a toggle. While a toggle is active, you do 30% of your single target as AoE damage, but you get 20% less energy generation. Where now, it's a charge-based system. It's a 25-second cooldown, costs energy to use it, and lasts for 12 seconds. You get 2 charges of the ability also. But your single target abilities now do 45% increased AoE damage, or AoE damage in general. So you're losing that 100% uptime, but you're gaining a charge-based system. You also don't get that energy slowdown either. So you're doing the same single target damage as you would with fat pressing the ability. All it's costing you is a global to activate it, and also 15 energy. This is really, really powerful. You might say it sucks having a charge-based system, you know, kind of 100% uptime of Blade Flurry, but you can get 36 seconds of back-to-back Blade Flurries with this current iteration. So, if you need an AoE for more than 36 seconds straight, you probably aren't doing something correct. Like, something's wrong on your side there. But yeah, really, really nice. Good stuff. We've also changed how Restless Blades gives you cooldown reduction. It's now 1 second, sorry. We're on live 0.5, which is really, really good. It's doubled. You're getting so many more adrenaline rushes now, and killing sprees and whatnot compared to the live server. It's pretty much true bearing, but a passive. They've also changed how you get energy back. Combat Potency now gives you 35% energy regeneration by default. So you're just standing around, you're getting more energy than you do on the live server by a large amount. Also, the offhand chance to give you 10 energy is now 75%, where on live it's only 30%. So you're getting more than double the amount of offhand procs giving you 10 energy, which is really, really powerful. Then they go, okay, let's buff the Mastery. So Mastery on the live server increases the chance for you to get the offhand hit with your ability, when you do a manhand ability. Now, the chance is always the same, always 30%, but the damage scales. So what this means is, we'll take this off, you see here, it's 862. Now it's going to be a bit lower, 734. So what this means is that, even if you don't have any Mastery gear on, you will still have a very high chance to do the Mastery proc, which in turn gives you higher chance of Combat Potency. So everything stacks up, and by default, doesn't matter what your gear is, the spec will play out perfectly. Where on live, you don't want Mastery because it's your worst stat, which means you're getting less Combat Potency procs anyway, because you're getting very few Mastery procs, and the Combat Potency proc is so low, it doesn't even matter. Where now, Combat Potency is a large part, and your Mastery, is a large part of your damage, but also a large part of your actual energy regeneration. Okay, so let's talk about the passive abilities and all the utility stuff. So utility stuff, Grappling Hook is now a baseline. There we go. It's a 1 minute cooldown, so it's longer than live, which is 30 seconds, but you don't have to spec into it. But if you spec into it, it's now 30 seconds. So same as live, but you don't have to spec into it, which is really, really cool. Next, Jolly Roger has been buffed. Jolly Roger is the one where you get higher chance of Sinister Strike, giving you the double hit, which gives you the free pistol shot, which is now half pistol shot, double damage. 25% on live, now it's 30%. If we can get it here, there we go. So you get lots of Sinister Strike procs here with the quick draw and all that stuff. It's really cool, really cool. Also, Buried Treasure has been reworked. On live, it gives you 30% energy, here it is. Gives you 30% energy regeneration increase. Now it gives you 4 energy per second. So it's pretty much the old one, it's pretty much this combat potency here, but you don't have to roll it anymore. So Buried Treasure is just like a buff on top in many ways, and it's really nice. 4 energy per second is a fair amount. It's not massive, but it lasts for so long, you know, at 40 something seconds, or 36 seconds, sorry. It's, yeah, not a bad one at all there. It is still 42 if you pick a deeper stratagem. Anyway, Between the Eyes has been changed very weirdly. So on live, it's 35 energy and 20-second cooldown, when now it's a 30-second cooldown, but 25 energy. So I think they really want you to use this on single target. It still gives you that quad damage, the 4 times damage on a crit strike, which is really good. It does more damage than a dispatch if it crits, but why would you risk it? Actually, it might be the same damage if it crits. Maybe slightly more, but it's not worth it. It's cheaper energy. Maybe it will be worth it if some high crit build, and I don't know, but it's a little awkward to that mechanic. But it's still there, which is kind of cool, I guess. Still gambling. They've renamed Run Through to Dispatch. I mentioned that there slightly, I guess. But it's still the exact same ability. They just renamed it for whatever reason. Cloak on live is a 1.5 minute cooldown before traits and everything else. Now it's a 2 minute cooldown. So that's a pretty big nerf to one of your best abilities. Now, DKs have a very similar ability, AMS, on a 1 minute cooldown, but AMS has been nerfed, I guess, without the artifact weapon. So you have the best debuff removal tool in the game at 2 minute cooldown, plus it also, you take no damage after that. So it's an immunity with the lowest cooldown, but you still take physical damage. Still the best in the game, in my opinion. One of the best damage reductions you can get, if not the best. They've also nerfed Feint. So Feint on live has no cooldown, and you take 50% less damage from AoE abilities. Now it's a 15-second cooldown and only 40%. They've also increased, they made the animation better. You see here, it actually looks good now. Like, it actually looks quite cool. So yeah, you can't spam Feint anymore. Gul'dan is now impossible to do. Sprint on the live server is 2 minutes. Now it's 1 minute. Shroud on live is 20 yards. Now it's bloody... Look at it, it's 30 yards. It's a big old circle. Anyway. Gouge on live is a 10-second cooldown. Now it's 15. And Bribe is now gone if you ever use that ability. So, the Rogue plays really well. The Outlaw Rogue. Really, really well. And I think that's what's the best thing about it, is that even if the damage is bad at the end, whatever happens, who knows. The good thing is that... Is that following me? The good thing is that the spec works. It operates perfectly without roll the bones. And we haven't even picked any of our talents here that are actually passives, or we haven't even used our talent abilities. So, let's go through the artifact weapon loss. What has happened with the Outlaw Rogue there? Not too much, really. The biggest one by far, and the only meaningful one in my opinion, is Curse of the Dread Blades. That was your artifact ability. You press the button every time you use a generator, so either Dispatch, Sinister Strike or Pistol Shot, you'd gain 5 combo points, and then you'd spend them and then do it back and forth, back and forth. Really, really big openers was there for the Outlaw Rogue, very heavy burst. Now you don't have that. Your burst is massively nerfed, really, because you do have Adrenaline Rush, which gives you that attack speed and energy regeneration, but like that doesn't increase your damage in many ways, because you, at least in the opener, realistically, you're not energy capped. So, or you're not running out of energy. So, your opener is much weaker now. Next, the next biggest one, I guess, which isn't even that big, is Blurred Time. While Adrenaline Rush was active, reduces the cooldown of your abilities by 15 seconds. The thing was, the only damaging ability it affected, besides Talented ones, which is only killing death from above, is your... Oh, what was it? I just forgot what it was. Death from... Curse of the Dreadblade, that's it. So, it just buffs the artifact weapon, and now the artifact weapon is gone, the ability. What's there, the buff from it? So, it's probably good that it's gone. Doesn't really matter. Loaded Dice was one of the gold traits. When you do Adrenaline Rush and roll the bones, you're guaranteed 2 rolls every time. Now you get that as a talent. So it's still there, but you have to spec into it. And last, but probably least, it's Fortune's Boom. Adrenaline Rush cooldown was reduced to about 2 minutes 20 through default traits, when now it's a 3-minute cooldown by default. So longer Adrenaline Rush cooldown, but remember, you do have that Restless Blades, which is giving you more cooldown reduction passively, and you're doing a lot more abilities in general, so more combo spenders. So you're getting the ability back much more often. But in saying that, now that you don't have Curse of the Dreadblades, that was a large portion of your cooldown reduction comeback mechanic, I guess you could say. So yeah, it might be slow, it probably is, but the class doesn't rely on Adrenaline Rush anymore to operate, so it actually isn't too big of a deal. Like, if you get true bearings, and maybe another roll, you probably will have back-to-back Adrenaline Rushes nearly, but yeah, bit of a nerf there. Now, the talents are quite fun for the Outlaw Rogue actually. Let's go through all of them here. We've got some oldies and some newbies. So, Weapon Master is a newbie here. Sinister Strike has a 10% chance increase to deal an additional damage, which means you get the additional chance here. So 45%, not 35%. So you're doing more Sinister Strike damage, and you're getting more half-cost double damage pistol shots. So this gives you more damage and more combo points in many ways. Quick Draw is the same as Live. Again, you do more damage and you get additional combo points. But now that you get 50% more additional damage, from what it looks like, you're increasing the damage of the double. It's more duplicative. So it's actually a bigger portion of your damage in the live server. It still does really low damage, but the damage is better probably than the live server. Now, Ghostly Strike has been destroyed. I describe it as destroyed. So on live, Ghostly Strike has no cooldown. It's 10%, but 15 seconds. I'm pretty sure, maybe the other way around. And it's really bloody good. Now, you have a cooldown of 35 seconds, and it's only 10 seconds, 10%. So not only are you doing less damage over a less period of time, you have lower uptime because Ghostly Strike you can't keep as a permanent buff anymore. But it does more damage than a Sinister Strike does. So what you have here in this row is that you have... They all generate combo points and all increase your damage in different ways. You have more procs. You have your proc does more damage and you have a better burst window. So yeah, interesting little line here. We'll see how it plays out. 30 acrobatic strikes and hit and run are the same. Retractable hook makes your grappling hook 30-second cooldown, not 1 minute. So same as live there, but you don't have to spec into it, so you can pick acrobatic strikes for example, and still have that juicy goodness of the grappling hook. 45 and 60 are exactly the same, besides the fact that Marked for Death got moved from 100 to 45. These are all combo point based abilities, these are all defensives. It feels like Deeper Stratagem is really worth going for now, just because 6 combo points is so easy to achieve, and especially if you pick Quick Draw, which feels like the best one, personally feels like the best one. When you get double combo points, you obviously waste them, and even if you get like some good rolls, if you get the roll, it gives you the combo point extra and stuff, so yeah, it feels like Deeper Stratagem is the way to go there, but you know, obviously it's all balancing. 75, Prey of the Weak and Dirty Tricks are the same. Blinding Powder is a new one. Reduce the cooldown of your blind by 30 seconds, so it takes it down to 1.5 minutes, and increase the range by 15 yards. So it becomes a 30-yard instant disorientate for 1 minute, which is amazing. It's the longest range instant CC in the game by far. Mages have the sheep. You can't sheep everything. You can blind everything in the game. This is super powerful for dungeons, for raids, if you need to CC something. Really, really good. So yeah, nice little road there. Now 90. Slice and Dice got moved. Slice and Dice also now gives you much less attack speed. On live, it gives you 125%. Now it gives you 60%. So not too sure about that one. It feels like Slice and Dice isn't critical for the class to work right now because on live everyone picks Slice and Dice. But the extra energy regeneration isn't really necessary because you have permanent combat potency and more offhand hits are giving you the more energy. And the increased attack speed obviously means you're getting more procs, but I don't know, it makes the spec faster if that's what you want, which is really, really cool. It means you're getting more adrenaline rushes, more whatever else adrenaline rush reduces through the Restless Blades here, but yeah, it doesn't feel like it's necessary anymore. But, you know, if you want to play Slice and Dice, you can, but yeah, it's interesting there. Next, Alacrity has changed severely also. On live, it is for 10 stacks, 2% each, when now it's 3% per stack, but it's only 5 stacks. So you're doing 20%, that's 15%. This new one here obviously builds much, much faster. You're getting to that 15% in 5 spenders versus, well, if you wanted 15%, you'd have to spend 6 spenders on the other one. Sorry, not 6, 8 spenders. So much faster in that regard, which is good for Mythic Plus if you're pulling a boss, for example, and you've had a bit of downtime between trash packs. Besides that, though, it doesn't matter too much. Even in Mythic Dungeon, you generally are chain pulling for the most part, so you have the buff active at all times. In a raid, it only affects the opener, but you have generally so many, you're casting so fast on the opener anyway, it's costing you 3 more casts, but I guess it's also costing you those generators. Maybe 30 seconds at the end of the day, but it's a pretty big haste reduction, 5%, but you don't need the haste, as I said, because the haste gives you more auto attacks, which is why you pick it for more combat potency procs, but you don't need the energy anymore. Haste also gives you, excuse me, I have a little bit of a burp there, haste gives you more energy regeneration, so yeah, but you don't need it. And then Loaded Dice is that trait where you use Adrenaline Rush and then roll the bones, and you're guaranteed at least 2 matches. So, this whole row is about energy regeneration, which is interesting. Besides Roll the Bones one, Loaded Dice, which is, in a way, energy regeneration because you'll be rolling dice less often, and also you'll be getting possibly better buffs. It's interesting how this row will play out here, because you have a maintenance talent in a way, but it's set and forget it nearly, and then more RNG, but it still gives you energy regeneration. It's a cool row, I really like it actually. We'll see how it plays out there. Now 100, this is where the fun stuff comes in. So firstly, Dancing Steel. Dancing Steel buffs your Blade Flurry to last 3 seconds longer, so 15 seconds, and do 5% more damage, so 50% increased AoE damage, not 45. So this means you can do 4 back-to-back Blade Flurries with only a 5-second gap, which is pretty low. So that's 45 seconds of AoEing, really. So if you need to AoE longer than that, you have a problem. So this is really, really good. Obviously, because remember, Blade Flurry isn't costing us any single target damage anymore. So if there's one target spawning and we have to AoE it down, Dancing Steel is a really good option. Because we're going to be pressing Blade Flurry anyway. It's great. Really great. Awesome. Now, Blade Rush is a new one. Blade Rush is a 20-yard range ability in many ways. 45-second cooldown. Does get reduced from Restless Blades, which is very, very important. It hits a target for a good amount of damage, 2,000 here. And the other targets take half damage. But, while Blade Flurry is active, all non-primary targets take 100% increased damage from the ability. So everybody takes full damage, pretty much. So everyone takes 2k damage here. You also get energy over time, 25 over 5 seconds, doesn't really matter too much there, but it is very nice because remember, this is reducing the cooldown through Restless Blades, so this comes up much more often than you think. So, we'll run around here, we'll pop a Blade Flurry, and then we'll dash in here. Not bad at all. The little numbers there are actually not their melee attacks, mastery, and also touch of the grave. They're not the blade rush. You can see though, blade rush damage. Holy Jesus. And you'll see here, if we do some spenders, if we spend some energy here, this is still a low slice and dice. We're actually getting cooldown reduction on the ability, so it's nearly back. You can even pop a blade flurry here, because why not? And now it's back. Big AoE damage. It come out there? Yeah, there we go. No animation in melee range, I guess, which is a little weird. But yeah, the rogue right now, the combat rogue, outlaw rogue, whatever you want to call it, that is a very good talent. Look at it, it's nearly back already. Like, oh, it's so good. It's really, really, really good. And if I picked better talents, quote unquote, like deeper stratagem, quick draw here, possibly more RNG goodness, even loaded dice, you can really get it going. Now, Killing Spree has been reworked also, slightly. So Killing Spree online, it's exactly the same in terms of the damage it deals in many ways, it teleports to people, whatnot. But on live, Killing Spree is a 3-minute cooldown. And Blade Flurry on live with Killing Spree teleports you to other targets, which, it's helpful, sure. And it still does that cleave portion, but it's awkward. This one here, it's worded differently. I don't think it's working right now. I don't think it's working as intended. So, it says, Wild Blade... Oh, there's fucking sound effects. What's going on over here? Wild Blade Flurry is active. Oh, sorry. Wild Blade Flurry is active. Also hits additional enemies for 100% additional damage. So, it sounds like to me it wants you to sit on the one target and everyone around you takes more damage. Pretty much the same as the Killing Spree. But what it does currently is that you still teleport around the screen, which is pretty annoying. So everyone's taking the same amount of damage there, but it's teleporting you still, where it sounds like they wanted so you pick a target and everybody around him takes damage equal to what you're dealing to that main target. So yeah, that is the Outlaw Rogue. I think the most interesting thing for talents anyway is that the 100 row is purely AoE. Like, these all work single target outside of this one. Blade Rush and Killing Spree, you'll still use single target, which is good. But an AoE row, an entire AoE row for the last row is really strange. I think it works, because these are all great talents. But aesthetically, really, it's just a strange option. I think the spec is actually really solid. As someone who doesn't enjoy Rogue outside of Outlaw, which is, you know, I'm playing Outlaw now, but this feels really good. Like, the spec feels good on live if it works, which it never does. But now oh, I'm gonna pick some better talents. But now it feels like it's always working. We'll pick some cool stuff here. Quick draw, we'll pick up the Clarity here, pick up Blade Rush, deeper stratagem. There we go. It just feels really nice. It just feels like it's always working, nearly. Oh, I need one roll. God damn it. This feels like it's a nice little... Was I expecting the wrong thing? Oh, I'm Killing Spree still. Oh, well, whatever. Oh, the lag is real. But yeah, just... There's nothing wrong with the spec. It plays nicely. It feels good. We got a Killing Spree yet? We do have a Killing Spree. I have the wrong keybind. Oh god, it's like a mouse up or something. Let's roll the bones here. Oh, true bearing. Here we go, boys. Yes. Give me that cooldown reduction. There's a minute gone. Oh, 10 seconds, sorry, on my Adrenaline Rush. You're gonna have a new Killing Spree pretty soon also. Obviously there is downtime still. It's not like you're always pressing buttons, but it's much more active than the live version. And we've got no energy procs yet, so really, it's not that bad. Killing Spree will be back very soon. If we had Blade Rush here, it would actually be better because we're getting more energy back too. We kind of messed up there a little bit. Anyway, we nearly have our Killing Spree now. Let's just do this here so we get the Killing Spree. Oh, page up. There we go. Totally rock button. What roll will it be this time, boys? It's... Oh, 1 again. Let's roll again. Fuck it. Oh, really? Same one twice? Oh, 5! Oh, shit! Popping off! Let's get the AoE in here, too. Probably not worth using Adrenaline Rush there, because you're wasting a GCD when you don't really need it. Oh, the lag is not helping my situation here. But yeah, you still look at that. It's so great getting that awesome RNG like that. Uh-oh, no procs. There we go, double. Doubles are still really good. Energy regeneration and crit chance increase. What could you really ask for? But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. I really recommend the Outlaw Rogue, especially if you want to be like an OP class. Rogue's always OP. It might not be Outlaw, but a Rogue spec will always be OP. So yeah, if you want to be a top tier bastard, pick a Rogue. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time.